If we could hop back in time and change anything about Michigan State football, what would it be? And also, yeah, of course, we're still going to harp on this Michigan State basketball team, but nope, not with just me. We have Austin Smith, friend of the program, of the Only Podcast. Let's go.
You are Locked On Spartans, your daily podcast on the Michigan State Spartans, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Today's episode of Locked On Spartans is brought to you by FanDuel. Make every moment more. New customers join today and you will get $150 in bonus bets if your first bet of $5 or more wins. Just visit FanDuel.com/locked-on to get started, folks. It's Austin Smith of the Only Podcast joining us for today's show, which is going to have its fair share of misery. Of course, we're going to talk about this basketball team here. We're going to have some fun here with football off the top. But before getting into that, Austin, my man, how we doing so far today?
You know, as good as we could. Is that set enough of a tone? I'm glad to be here doing this. But, just really throwing myself into Red Wings hockey nowadays.
Yeah, sure.
Just,
Right.
Oh, man. I don't know. I'm somewhere deep in the MSU basketball spiral of, like, totally losing confidence before winning 3 games. And then, you know what I mean? I'm deep in the spiral.
We're going to get out of the spiral here with some MSU football talk right off the bat, because this was a question thrown on Reddit, r/CFB. I'm sure we have some listeners that are hip to that subreddit over there, but the question was a fun one. If you had a time machine and could fix one thing for your program, what would it be? Now, that's open-ended. That's pretty broad. Like, would it be the result of a single game? Would it be something that would change a year, or something that changes the trajectory of a program, Austin? So, of course, we're going to go back and forth here, but I'm interested to see how you interpreted this question and where you would go here if you were to hop inside of this time machine for Michigan State.
Yeah, I thought of a couple of different things, a couple of individual game results, a couple of recruiting battles. But there's one that just stood out as like the big red blinking light for me. And it was Michigan State in 2014 being put in the Big Ten East instead of in the Big Ten West.
Nailed. Ding, ding, ding. Like that's it. That is the correct. Yeah. There is no correct answer, but that's the correct answer. Yeah.
It just, to me, I remember at the time it's big time loser talk, just for the record. Like, I want to openly acknowledge
that's
like
fine.
Huge loser talk, like running from the biggest games, whatever. And I remember at the time being upset, but not being like devastated, because 2013, Michigan State just won the Rose Bowl. Like, we were at the peak of our powers, riding high. Yep. You could have told me we were going to the SEC and I'd been like, we're hanging, whatever. Yeah. And, obviously not the case, but to look back on it, and I did, kind of unfortunately exhume this body a little bit.
Yeah.
It's just so unfortunate. Like, I just a little bit here. 2014, right? MSU goes, I think it was 11-2. Finished tied number 5 in the country. And they lost, one divisional game or something like that. Either way, Ohio State wins the division over Michigan State, and then beats Wisconsin 59-0.
Yes.
Oh my God! MSU goes to the Cotton Bowl in a year where they easily could have gone and played against Ohio State, and just like we saw the year before that, who knows what happens? MSU then goes and wins in 2015. And then after that, the teams start to peter out. But if you look at the other teams, like, there was 2 1-score Big Ten championship games that came after 2015.
Wow.
Yeah. It was Penn State beat Wisconsin 38-31. Ohio State beat Wisconsin 27-21. And then it was Ohio State 45, Northwestern 24. Ohio State 34, Wisconsin 21. Ohio State 22, Wisconsin, Northwestern 10. And then Michigan bludgeoning the last 3.
Right.
Even if the sacrificial lamb still loses like that and it's Michigan State, I'm having a great time. And we're landing recruits that we probably missed out on. And it's like that whole domino effect. We could have been that sacrificial lamb, and it really would have been great. And instead, we still had our fun, but
I know. Of
there's
course we did. Yeah.
there's no LJ Scott touchdown if that happens. So, this is a little silver lining. It's very, very small, but it's a silver lining.
I know this isn't the topic, but like one of my biggest regrets is just dogging on legends and leaders. Like had I known how great that actually was,
Oh,
like
man.
I would have had a different tune about a decade ago. But no, it turns out that was actually a brilliant divvying up of the divisions there. I love that right off the top here. I had two because I'm just the worst at my own questions that I ask here. I'm going to go through one really quick. One is just, hey, Mark, if you just want to retire like 2 months prior to when you decided, like that, not to be picky, you can go out on your own timeline. You're a legend here, but if we could be a nuisance here, let's scoot that up just 2 months just to make it a clearer and cleaner coaching search there. Just right off the top there. The other one is season specific, and I don't even know how far the season could have gone, but it would have went a little better than a RedBox Bowl finish. And if you are a cop, if you're an FBI agent, if you're anything to do with law enforcement, kindly please turn your volume down right now because I'm going to incriminate myself here. If I had a time machine, I would plant drugs in Dave Warner's car, or if we're gonna take it a little more socially acceptable, maybe frame him for a white-collar victimless crime like tax fraud or something like that. Something where Dave Warner would not have been the offensive coordinator in 2018 because, Austin, I did go back and look up the stats just to make sure that we remember this correctly, and it was as bad as we remember. They were the third worst Power 5 scoring team with 18.7 points per game. And on the other side of the field, which makes it even worse, the third best Power 5 scoring defense, 17.2 points per game. So just an adequate offense. Gets you a little better than 6-6 or whatever the record was and into a RedBox Bowl. I'm not saying that this team goes to Pasadena, but man, you're off a 10-win season in the Holiday Bowl. You could keep momentum going there. Not to pin it on one guy, but yeah, if we could have Dave Warner somehow out of the program in 2018, I probably would have appreciated that. Again, choose your crime, choose your exit, but yeah, that's probably how I would spend my time machine.
That one in particular, it's probably the defense that gets overlooked the most in that pantheon of great Michigan State defenses.
Big time.
The quarterback on that Oregon team that Michigan State played in that RedBox Bowl was Justin Herbert.
Yeah.
Got drafted, number 7 overall or whatever is
something light. Yeah, right.
$40 million a year, incredible young player in the NFL, and was completely shut down. I know there's other NFL players that I'm forgetting that were on that team too, but like to do that to him and still put up 2 points. Again, it's kind of funny with these examples, like because we are so sick, there are little moments that I not having the RedBox Bowl in a way like probably would have made me a better person, but
sure,
it was so funny watching. It was just like, wow, this is everything I feared, and it's all happening in front of everyone right now. So those little moments you miss out that you would have missed out on are like a little bit poetic, but I would have traded them for Dave Warner. Yeah, spending time in maybe a county jail for a couple of weeks that wouldn't have been so bad.
Yeah, and like I do have a list of honorable mentions, and of course, like the whole Mel Tucker saga, of course, crosses my mind. But honestly, like I kind of like having Jonathan Smith right now. I know he has yet to coach a game here, but I think it's a really good hire. So, like, yeah, really weird and just downright awful way for things to end. But what was at the finish line wasn't the worst thing in the world. So I don't know. I know it's really bad to say. Specifically with 2014, there was the game against Ohio State where there was a holding call on Jack Allen, and that was during what would have been a touchdown. Instead of a touchdown, they miss a field goal. Ohio State goes down, changes the game completely. Also, I'm just going to ramble off my honorable mentions. Don't schedule a Power 5 non-conference team ever. Arizona State could have done without that series, even though we had a lovely road trip there. That was an awesome time, but still speaking of 2018, or was that 19? Doesn't matter. Doesn't fun, regardless. And the Washington series, of course, could have done without that. In 2021, I don't know if COVID excuses were still a thing, but maybe use one of those for the Purdue game. I did not feel the need to play that game. It would have been a really good game to miss out on. And also, I'm just going to end on this one for my honorable mentions. Just a nice life advice talk to the 2016 recruiting class. I just would have given a few pointers in life. That's just me though. So that's how I would spend my time travel.
Yep.
Austin, if you have any honorable mentions, do you have any honorable mentions? Or
Yeah, I
can
did.
we?
Also, quick
Sorry.
point.
Yeah.
Quick point. If you want to be a first round NFL draft pick, all you got to do is, and as a quarterback, is play Michigan State in the non-con. Michael Penix about to get drafted in the first, second round. Jaden Daniels is going to end up in the top 5. We already talked about Justin Herbert. Like, it just feels like a who's who of NFL stars that end up playing Michigan State somehow. We just managed
Yeah.
to find them at every turn.
I can't wait for the 2027 Pro Bowl to happen, and all like 8
my
combined quarterbacks will have played Michigan State at some point in their careers. So, yeah, I want to get into your honorable mentions here in a hot second, but awesome. So sorry, I got to kick you to the bench because I need to talk to people's ears off about eBay Motors, the greatest place to find your auto needs. Passion, drive, and patience. What brings home the winning trophy is also what keeps your ride or die alive. eBay Motors has everything you need to maintain your vehicle and level it to peak performance, from superchargers, roof racks, exhaust kits, LED headlights, and so much more. Whether you're into speed, power, or style, eBay Motors has got you covered. With over 122 million parts for your number one ride or die, you will always find exactly what you are looking for. And with eBay Guaranteed Fit, your part is guaranteed to fit your ride every single time, or it's your hard-earned money back. Because with eBay Motors, you are burning rubber, not cash. With all the parts you need at the prices you want, it's easy to turn your car into the MVP and bring home that win. So what are you waiting for out there? Keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply. eBay Guaranteed Fit only available to U.S. customers. Now let's drag back Austin Smith of the Only Podcast. And I'm so sorry we had to take it to segment 2 here, but Austin, honorable mentions, man. A lot. I mean, you had the grand prize going away winner right off the top, but what else was left on the cutting room floor over there?
Yeah, I mean, the other biggest one that jumped out to me, and again, like, I battled with this because the outcome of the season was legitimately the stuff of dreams.
Okay.
But losing to Notre Dame in 2013, Trey Wayne's getting some tough PI calls against him.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was not a good one. That was when I was in attendance for, not great. But it did lead to, the pinnacle of my sports attendance career.
Yeah.
But that one, to me, I mean, you're talking about a team that was playing as well as anybody in the country at the end of that year. And that was the year it was Mariota and Jameis, I believe, in the national championship. Florida State won. I remember watching that game thinking, we are every bit good enough to win this national championship. So that's probably the time machine moment for me. Or it could have been just having one of those 2 other teams lose. Maybe I wouldn't change the Notre Dame game. I would have changed one of their outcomes so that we could have got in.
I like that a lot, actually.
Yeah.
Don't look inward, look outward. Yeah. Have one of those 2 teams.
Blame other people.
Oh God. Oh, we are a big no accountability podcast if the stakes are that high, like
Same.
It depends on the case, but no, I like that one a lot. And I think a lot of people are going to agree with you on that one. But yeah, I like that. That's why I maybe didn't even write it down, is because like the consolation prize is, you win the Big Ten title and go to a Rose Bowl. Like,
yeah,
I don't lose that much sleep on it, but no, that's a really strong one. All right, let's wipe that smile off our face, Austin, because we're going to talk basketball. And if you're out there thinking, oh my God, for a third day in a row, he's going to whine about this basketball team. You're absolutely right, because it is February 28th. And at this point of the season, Austin, we should be talking about, hey, what needs to happen in the last 3 games for MSU to win the Big Ten title, or at the very least start talking about the double bye in the Big Ten tournament, or start talking how we can get a 5 seed. But, that's just not the season we're having here. So, Austin, I just got a super broad question for you, man. What above everything else is driving you the most insane about this season? Take it away.
Well, if you've listened at all to, and I apologize if you have, to our show, the theme has just been just a lack of dog. This team has no dog, none, no backbone, no mental fortitude, no nothing. And the thing that's a bummer to me is that those are the things that define the program. I mean, you heard, I think it was Jason Richardson on an interview recently talking about the war drill. Again, the cheesiest example, that horse is beaten into dust, but we still, it's emblematic of what this program is supposed to be. It's like tough, we block shots, we rebound, we play good defense, all of those things. You come up big in big spots, and this team just doesn't do that. And I think the irony of it is that if you look at the statistical profile, in a lot of ways, it actually looks like what should be a pretty good MSU team.
Right.
I was looking at it today. They're top 10 in assist to turnover ratio. How often do we complain about turnovers? It was Cassius Winston we complain about turnovers. Yeah. This team is top 25 in assists per game. This team is actually top 45 in three-point shooting per game, which, considering how poorly they started this year, is pretty incredible. They're top 20 in fast break points per game. Like, these are the ingredients that make up, at least offensively, typically a very good competitive Michigan State team. But then it's the lack of dog that shows up on the glass. I'm sure you've talked about it on here every episode for the last 4 months or whatever it's been, but they are 186th in rebound margin. 184th and 185th, by the way, are Samford and Rice.
Oh, dog teams. Perfect. Okay. That's good company.
Powerhouses.
Great.
In certain areas of the country.
Sweet.
That to me is, it feels like this MSU program has sort of lost the plot since Cassius Winston, kind of, actually not even really, since like Aaron Henry's team.
Yeah,
that team fair. At least was, they were all dog, no talent, all dog. And so it's just, speaking of time machine moments, going back and canceling COVID would probably be something I'd do for the basketball team. But
just for the basketball team, that was the only reason I would do it. Right.
That's it. Right.
Put that on record. Put that on record. Yeah.
Write it in pen. So I just, that to me, it's just so unfortunate because you feel like you can always count on that, right? Like that's part of Tom Izzo being Tom Izzo. That's part of Michigan State being Michigan State. And really the last 3-4 years, it just has gone by the wayside. And this year, I think, is the most frustrating version of it because of what we expected to happen. Like we expected this team to grow in those areas because of what they showed at the end of the year, and because of all this returning talent, because of this injection of front court talent that allegedly is on the team. Like, so it's all of those things. But if I sum it up in one broad term, what's driving me the most crazy is there is no dog.
That kind of just goes into what's driving me the craziest right now. And I know that I've done shows where it's like, you know what's driving me the craziest? Like, this is like the 15th edition of this. Like, I know full well that. So if it seems like you're going crazy that I'm saying the same thing over and over again. No, I am. I know what I'm doing over here. But today, as it stands, 5 p.m.-ish on Wednesday, February 28th, what is driving me the craziest is actually a quote that came from the press conference after the game. And also quotes from, the offseason and how he's handled the portal. Because a lot was made of, hey, one reason I'm not doing the portal is because of the culture. I don't want to screw the culture up. The culture, it is what it is. I don't want to screw everything up. We got our guys, culture. And then what are we told after the game on Sunday in late February with a team full of 23-year-old kids and another one that's just turned 21 is that, damn it, we don't have a single leader on this team. Well, what? No, that can't be true because I was told the culture can't be changed with just adding a player in the portal, Tom. You're telling me that this culture that we've protected doesn't have a single leader amongst it? So that is what is driving that's what's driving me up a wall, is that, hey, that was a reason that we couldn't bring in a center here, Austin. Don't want to screw everything up. The guys love each other. Look at the leadership here. And then, guess what? There never was leadership in the first place. So. Yeah.
I think Izzo's in his media spin zone bag in a level he's never been before. It's like, I think I tweeted it out on Sunday when they announced Xavier Booker was starting because it was a Izzo masterclass moment to start him then.
Yes.
After he came out in the media, potentially with a knife in his back, and said, "No, it's fine. I mean, I haven't been playing all year. It's totally fine. I'm loving it." For him to come out and say that, and then Izzo's like, "You're starting," it was brilliant. It was brilliant because if it works, Tom Izzo's done it again. Yes. He's a genius, and he deserves the title. He's a Hall of Famer. It's not to disparage the legacy of Tom Izzo. He's incredible. He's given more to me than most
than
people
I
get
have ever
from
given
anyone
myself.
associated with sports ever. So
Correct.
Yeah, then I have given myself, correct. But if it works, brilliant, genius, masterclass. If not, social media is to blame. Again, I told you guys he wasn't ready.
Yep.
This is why I play Matty Sissoko for the 78th game in a row.
Yep.
This is why I play Carson Cooper. Like, I look back and I'm like, the lack of leadership line, like, I think if I had heard that in person, my eyes would have hit the back of my head, because this team is older than the Detroit Pistons core. Like, what are we talking about? You know,
and that's not a joke, folks. Like, that's not a bit that Austin's doing. That's a true stat.
Yeah, it's just, I don't know what you do though. Like, but I also don't understand how that is what, like, you should have known that, right? Like, can't you address it somehow? Like,
Undoubtedly.
I don't get it. I just don't understand. But
I just don't get a lot of things going on. And if you think we're done talking about Xavier Booker, you're also out of your mind here. But no, Tom Izzo had a quote here that I want to get your take on, Austin. But first, I'm sorry, I have to send you to the bench one more time, because FanDuel, America's #1 sports book, they want to hook up their new customers. Folks, if you're a new customer over at FanDuel, again, America's #1 sports book, you're going to get $150 in bonus bets with any winning $5 bet. Yeah, that's right. You heard me right. $150 if your bet wins. So if you're an NBA fan, go ahead, check out the menu of any games, any player props. Go ahead, check out their quick bets, live same game parlays, exclusive props, and so much more, and make a $5 bet that you like. And if it hits, hey, $150 in bonus bets. Now, let's say the NBA is not your thing. Let's say you want to keep it college sports, specifically Michigan State. Hey, the hockey team right now, 11-1 to win the national title. Those are the 6th best odds in the nation over at FanDuel. So, hey, if you're not feeling the basketball team, if you're not feeling basketball in general, they got pretty much every sport out there, including college hockey. Again, guys, new customers, $5 bet win. Hey, that gets you $150 in bonus bets. So what are you waiting for out there? Just visit FanDuel.com/lockdown and shoot your shot. It's FanDuel, official sportsbook partner of the NBA. And let's drag Austin Smith of the Only Podcast back onto the program, because, folks, he's staying here for all 3 segments. He is not hung up yet. This is great. Things are just going awesome. Now, speaking of going awesome, hey, let's talk about Izzo's usage of Xavier Booker, but let's hear from Tom Izzo himself. This tweet comes from Kyle Austin. This was sent a few minutes before we started recording, Austin. So Kyle Austin, a lot of Austins in this sentence. Holy smokes.
Good guy.
Sounds like it. Strong defense from Tom Izzo today on his decision-making, especially with Xavier Booker's story to come. The quote is, quote, "I didn't forget how to coach, contrary to what most of our probably alums feel right now. Not 1 ounce of a night do I worry about how I've dealt with Booker." Now, I don't know if you've seen that quote before, but for sake of conversation, Austin, instant reaction to hearing that he doesn't have any problems with how he's dealt with Xavier Booker.
It's just a continuation of the masterclass. Well, first of all, he shouldn't care what we have to say. I think to be clear, he's Tom Izzo. He shouldn't care. I'd like it if he cared sometimes, but he shouldn't. So that's probably ultimately a good thing. But it's just a continuation of the masterclass. It's like, I know what I'm doing. I'm just going to continue. I did this for a reason. It kind of worked. He played pretty well. We'll keep doing it no matter what.
So this sign behind me, it plays music whenever any Michigan State sport kicks off a game, tips off a game, first pitch of a game. I don't know what sport's going on right now, and I don't know how loud it is to you, but this is deafening, and it scares the hell out of me whenever it happens. So
I thought the phone was ringing.
Sorry for this break in the program, everyone, but yes, this sign, which I love, by the way, teamticker.com, gave me a heart attack just there. And fight, team, fight. Yeah, so wow, what a way to just completely crumble whatever conversation we were having. But this is what you get with Locked On Spartans here. We're not going to edit any of this out either. It goes on for a lot longer than you'd hope.
Listen,
but
John and I haven't edited a show in how it's been, like 6 years or something. Say 8 years, whatever.
Yeah.
It's been. We haven't edited a show ever. Okay. UNC Wilmington.
Yep, UNC Wilmington at 5 p.m. Softball game. So good luck to our softball Spartans.
Softball show.
I guess softball so. Yeah, we'll update you guys when the game ends. We're not actually going to do that, but good luck to them.
Yeah. But no, I have no idea how to react to what he said. Like, it doesn't surprise me. Of course, he's going to get defensive, put his hackles up. It's his right as a Hall of Fame head coach to do so. I don't think anyone necessarily agrees with him, because I think it's one thing, again, to unpack it a little bit. Like, I don't think anybody objects to necessarily not playing a guy if he's not ready, if what's in front of him is playable in the Big Ten for a team that should be competing for a championship. At that point, no objection. Let him ride on the bench. Awesome. You've got guys in front of him who can contribute. But when the guys in front of him are Carson Cooper and Matty Sissoko playing at, a Minnesota level at center, a level that, again, and not to be a snob, but like shouldn't be acceptable for a Michigan State big man rotation, then it was almost like, why not? I think is that it's been everyone's frustrations. Why not? What are we missing out on? Or what could we possibly not be seeing that could be keeping him on the bench? Because these guys aren't doing the job well, objectively. No. It's numbers. And so that, I think, is the frustration. Again, like, if it keeps him around for another year when he can truly be let off the leash, then, we might end up looking really stupid and he'll look smart again for the millionth time. But, I'd be fine with that.
Yeah. No, of course I'm bothered with how Xavier Booker was used on Sunday, but by and large, the whole season, like, I did agree with him, and I backed him up plenty of times on the show that they're like, no, Xavier Booker's not ready. And then, a few weeks ago when it was clear that, okay, he's actually looking comfortable, he's looking like he belongs out there, we change our tune. We say, I'd like to see more of him. I'm not as upset with how he's handled Xavier Booker as much as kind of what you're saying, how he's handled the other guys on the team, like putting Matty Sissoko out there for the end of the game. Like, what are we waiting to see for that to be proven right? And this is one thing I railed on after the game on Sunday, is he was asked about the Booker thing and why he played Matty, but the answer is never like what Matty does well. Like, oh, well, Matty plays good defense. Matty does. It's always like some slight against Booker, and it's more and more inane as it goes on. It's like, oh, he doesn't do good ball screen defense. It's like, okay, but I'm staring at a guy that can't catch a ball. He can't hold on to a ball if by some miracle of God he does catch it. He can't post up. He can't shoot. His defense is fine. His rebounding, sure, he had 6 rebounds the other night, but the 4 games before that, 4 combined rebounds. It's like, I don't know. It's like, it seems like we're being really picky for no good reason, but I'm sure people are sick of hearing me talk about that and just crying about it, because that's all I've been doing the last 3 days, because I'm just sick of it, man. It's not fun, Austin. It's not fun. I'm not having a good time. I don't think you are either. I don't think anyone listening, watching is having a great time. Can I say one more thing? When it came to like what drives you the most insane, again, I didn't have just one answer. I had 2 answers. What is just always just gets under my skin here, and I am admitting defeat to people, is the crowd of people that just act like Tom Izzo is infallible. That you cannot criticize, and that, hey, no, how dare you talk like this about him? He's brought us to Final Fours. He has this great streak. We're in the tournament. Why are you complaining? Right now, we're probably making the tournament. It's like, I think the tournament streak is very cool. I think it's actually his coolest stat that he has. But it's really cool when you have some 2 seeds and 3 seeds sprinkled in, and not just living between the 8 seed and the 11 seed for 4 straight years. Like, guys, I know the Final Fours were fun back in the day. We are so far removed from those days that it's not funny. So like that's also what drives me insane, is that you'd think that we could finally collectively agree that things are not going well right now. And I'm not saying to fire the guy, I'm not saying that he needs to retire, but like, let's stop the loser talk of being complacent with what's happening. So I don't even know if you have a thought on that, because
I think that there's a certain level that MSU fans should hold the program accountable to. Like,
thank you.
He created a standard that is excellence. He created a standard that is hanging banners. And if we don't hang any kind of banner in a season, quite honestly, as spoiled and as entitled as it sounds, we shouldn't consider that season a success. Look at the best programs in the country: Kansas, Duke, North Carolina, Kentucky. Like, that's how they approach basketball.
Right.
Like, look at the biggest programs in football. Like, if you want to, and then it's funny because the same people that say he's infallible will also say Michigan State's a blue blood. You have to act like one.
Can't do it.
If you're going to say you are one. And so to me, it's, you gotta either commit to being a loser and have loser talk, or be a big boy and participate in big boy talk. And I think we've done enough to look at this last stretch of 4 years and say, like, Tom, this is not even acceptable by the standards that you've set over the last 20 some odd years. And we can raise our expectations. He created the expectations. Like, he should be held accountable to him. Like you're saying, like, no, you don't fire Tom Izzo. I don't think he's anywhere near washed up. So he's got plenty of life left in him. He's got great recruits coming in. I think he'll manage to keep this roster pretty together moving forward. So I don't necessarily think that's the case, but he's not infallible. No coach is infallible. So so we got to act like big boys. This can't be okay. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I get it. A big offseason has to happen. We talked a little bit about that at yesterday's show if you want more thoughts on that. But so something tells me that we'll be talking about the change that have to be made this offseason a lot during this offseason. So I won't waste any more of your time, Austin, or any of the listeners' time, because plenty more of that content to come in the next few weeks and months. But Austin, this is great, man. Really do appreciate you offering us some time.
Yeah.
You, John Kirby, is always making the magic happen at the only podcast.
Okay.
Just an A+ show over there. So anything else you want to plug or throw out there before we let you go and enjoy the rest of your day?
MSU hockey, you should watch it. I haven't, but I've heard it's really fun. If you're looking for a pick me up, watch the Red Wings. They're great. And listen, we're gonna make March. Can't be too mad. Things are still good, guys. Things are still good.
So. Yeah,
that's all. That's my plug. Be happy.
Yeah, try to be happy. Yeah, Tigers might win the Central. They might win the Central. They might. The
NFL draft is sort of soon. We love the NFL
draft sort of soon. There we go.
Everything
Masters
but
around the
MSU
corner.
basketball is really great.
Yeah. Look at us. There we go. Way to get out the door with a smile. There we go, folks. We will be back tomorrow. Another fun guest tomorrow. I don't want to say the name. Don't want to jinx anything. We're still working on scheduling it. But, hey, stay tuned. A lot more football, basketball talk tomorrow. Till then, folks, love you all. Go Green.